Nurgle as a Chaos God is one that is both incredibly disturbing and incredibly comforting at the same time. For those who are unaware, Nurgle is the Chaos God of death and decay, along with disease, and for anyone who isn't the average soldier type in the Warhammer 40k universe, this would be one of the worst Chaos Gods to deal with, and I would like to show you why. Imagine you live on a hive world, or some other world where you are a noble of some sort. You have vast resources but are incredibly busy, and starting to get worn down, you haven't had a break in years, and you want more than anything to just sit down and rest. All of a sudden, you get incredibly sick, and despite your vast resources, the doctors can't find anything objectively wrong with you, making all of those resources that you have at your disposal completely useless. And for the first time in your life, you feel powerless. You're absolutely terrified and scrambling to find anything that will make your life last longer. Then all of a sudden, you begin to hear a voice offering to take that away from you, to replace the pain with bliss, but only if you give up your humanity. Your fear gets the better of you, and you agree. And this results in the beginnings of a cult. This cult reaches out and recruits others into your ranks, allowing for Nurgle's gifts to spread more and more as time goes on, rituals get conducted, people start to disappear, and giving it a few months to a year, it has spread all over the planet, resulting in a situation like the planet of Tertium, or the Plague Wars during the Indomitus Crusade. And as you sink deeper and deeper into Nurgle's rabbit hole, you begin to experience the effects of Nurgle's rot, a plague that every single follower of Nurgle is subjected to. Its symptoms including the likes of skin rotting and falling off, as well as it bloating. Maggots and pustules full of disease will develop in and outside of your body. Your stomach will burst open, with your intestines hanging out and rotting away for all to see. But, being a follower of Nurgle, you don't experience any of the pain that comes along with these things, because what he does is provide comfort. He takes away the pain and makes you rot, but you are so distracted and blissful for the first time in your life, you are not even aware of it. And this doesn't apply just to cultists and even space marines, but this applies to his demons as well. Every single follower of Nurgle, whether it's a human cultist, space marine, or demon, all have this innate sense of joy and bliss and relaxation that most people in the 41st millennium cannot even dream of having. Not only this, but Nurgle is genuinely kind to his followers, with many of them seeing him as a father figure and caretaker, with most of them residing inside of his garden, the realm of warp space where he himself and all of his demons reside. Most mortal followers of Nurgle hope to make the journey to Nurgle's garden one day, finally achieving a sense of peace and never leaving there. But this mental security, this happiness, this innate sense of joy in life only applies if you submit yourself. If you give up your humanity, your individuality, and everything that makes you, you. And let's just say, even if you decide to turn all of that down, Nurgle's answer to that is to just let you feel all of the pain that you're currently subjected to. All the maggots, all of the skin, decaying, all of it. And he won't let you die either. He will keep you alive forever to feel this unimaginable pain, just so that way you'll submit to him. Nurgle is inherently manipulative, which is something I don't see talked about or even considered, because if you really think about it, Nurgle represents more than just death and decay. He represents an aspect of conditional love that many people in the real world experience day to day. He will only give you that relief and that peace if you submit yourself to him, to give him what he wants, not what you want. He preys on your needs, your fears, your desires, and he isn't honest about it. He's a liar, and I know that he's not a nice guy. He's a chaos god. Chaos god's bad. That's not a new statement or a new sentiment, but it's still something that I don't see talked about a lot, which, in my opinion, is fascinating. The idea that a chaos god masquerading as a form of kindness, when in reality he could easily be the most manipulative chaos god next to Tzeentch, who he royally hates, is interesting. Not only does it make him an incredibly manipulative chaos god, it also makes him a hypocrite. And that, to me, makes him infinitely scarier than just being the chaos god of bugs and the seasonal flu. Manipulative behavioral tendencies aside, Nurgle himself has a lot at his disposal. His demons in particular are both gross and high in number, with poxwalkers basically being zombies that are incredibly strong, with even a group of 4 being able to nearly drown a space marine on the moon of Davin during the events of False Gods. The Beast of Nurgle is both incredibly dangerous and weirdly endearing, considering the fact that they just have the demeanor of your average brand new puppy. Also, fun fact, it will eventually get depressed after stomping on all of its new friends, and then it will turn into a rotfly, which will then be used as a plague drone. The Great Unclean One, however, is basically just an avatar of Nurgle and is easily the most recognizable Nurgle demon outside of the Nurgling, which are basically just Great Unclean Ones, but not as intelligent and significantly smaller. However, Nurgle isn't just limited to his forces of demons, as his chosen Chaos Space Marine Legion are the primary heralds of the Plague Lord's reign over many individuals throughout the galaxy. The Death Guard are one of 3 traitor legions that did not shatter in the aftermath of the Horus Heresy, and while not being the biggest of all the legions, they make up for it in sheer tankiness. The Death Guard, like the other Chaos-devoted legions, are intrinsically linked with their Chaos God, as they often get blessings directly from Nurgle, with many warbands roaming the galaxy causing havoc for anyone and everyone they end up coming across. Most of the Death Guard forces are commanded by Mortarion, or Typhon, with Typhon being Nurgle's chosen champion, and some of you may wonder why that is. Well, Typhon was the one who was directly responsible for pledging the Death Guard to Nurgle, so I guess even to Chaos Gods, the concept of dibs still applies. He also has a giant hive of bugs inside of his body called the Destroyer Hive that he can just send out to basically just turn everything into nothing but rot and bones whenever he wants to, so that's a thing. As of late, they have been a particular pain in the ass for the Imperium, as during the Plague Wars, they caused a lot of problems in the Ultramar sector that got so bad that when Guilliman basically died, the spirit of the Emperor had to possess him and then show up inside of Nurgle's garden and rock Nurgle shit to get him to cut it out. And while they aren't the most tactically diverse legion, they are shock assault primarily, make no mistake, they make up for it in their ability to grind anything they come across into paste. Combined with the fact they usually have a full force of demons behind them, the Death Guard showing up on your homeworld would be a bad, bad time. Nurgle, on the whole, is a pretty layered chaos god than one would initially assume, and while on the surface there seems to be a lot of basic ideas, which admittedly there are, digging through those ideas reveals things that are far more unsettling and disturbing than one would initially realize. For reading recommendations, I would say listen to The King of Pigs and The Deacon of Wounds from the Warhammer Horror imprint, the Chaos Space Marines 3.5 or 3rd edition codexes, and Liber Chaotica Nurgle, along with the books The Lords of Silence, the Dark Imperium trilogy, and The Buried Dagger, which covers the events of Nurgle claiming the Death Guard as his chosen legion. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a great night.